So, being vegan in the majority of our eyes is seen as weird since the most of us are brought up as meat eaters, and making such a huge lifestyle change that vegan can be seen as quite a difficult task.
We spoke to former meat eater, now proud vegan and professional freerunning and parkour athlete Tim Shieff about what life as a vegan is all about here at a vegan restaurant cooked daily at the Box Park in Shoreditch. Could you briefly explain to us what being vegan is about?
Being vegan for me is about not consciously harming animals. Of course, day to day, I might walk around treading an ant or driving my car, might hit a fly, that's an accident. It'd be incredibly overly stressful to try and live and cause minimum harm on the planet. But I realise that every day we make a choice 3 times a day about what we eat, what we consume through our mouths, and that choice can support animal cruelty or not. And the fact that humans can survive without consuming any products from animals, once I realised that and came to terms with that, I thought, well then why am I going to support industries that are cruel to animals? And so I stopped consuming through my mouth and then buying products like leather. I stopped supporting industries that support animal cruelty, which to me is any industry that enslaves or decides this animal's life is for our service.
So, you recently made a video about passive veganism.
Yeah.
Explain to me what that means to be a passive vegan and why you shouldn't be a passive vegan.
Passive veganism is something that most people, when people first become vegan, they either go one of 2 ways. They become very self-righteous and try to tell everyone about it, which was kind of like me in the beginning, because I thought, wow, how are we doing this and no one knows? Everyone, if they knew about it, they wouldn't support this. And then passive veganism is the opposite, where they go, I don't want to offend people, I'm just going to do this way, but I'm going to keep my opinions to myself.
So you feel the need to like, so in other situations you feel the need to, like, you would have to jump in, whether, like, for example, say if, like, you saw another human being harmed, same way how you feel about animals, you feel like you have to jump in as well.
Yeah, exactly that. If I was to see a human being harmed and I didn't step in, I would feel like I should step in. I should help this human out who's in need. In the same way I see animals in distress for no reason, it's not for survival anymore, it's just cruel. So I step in and I tell people and I vocalise. Now you have to be smart with it, because humans don't respond well always to being attacked, and they often rebel against what you persist on them. And the same way parents persist vegetables on kids and then the kids don't like vegetables because of the way they approach it. You can't persist, don't eat animals to humans. You have to be soft with your approach, and different approaches work for different people. So for me, it depends on who I'm with, whether they're an open-minded person. If they're open-minded like me, I can be really blunt and honest about what goes on, about cows get raped just for your milk, or baby chicks get killed. But if someone is a bit more and are living in their ego and they can't take the blunt truth, you have to be soft and just kind of lead by example.
As a parkour athlete, you've always been aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Did you think after becoming vegan that your surroundings have become more inspiring to you?
Yeah.
Obviously, I saw your last video.
Yeah.
You're obviously really inspired by nature.
Yeah, naked. That was so nice. Oh my god, that was such a nice feeling.
It seems like you're quite in touch with, like, just everything.
It's an interesting journey, because it's all encompassing. Once you go down this route of eating fruits and vegetables, I don't know whether consuming that product then it hits your brain or something, but you start noticing that you're more comfortable in nature and away from cities, and that cities are quite toxic places to exist sometimes. And then when you go to nature, you go, wow, I feel so calm. And it's the same with the food. When you have the contrast, if you are trying to be vegan but then you get suckered in or you get weak one time and you eat meat again, and then you feel the way that makes your body feel, that low energy, that low vibration, then you go, wow, okay, now I know the contrast, that's why I stopped eating that, that's one of the reasons why I stopped eating that. It's the same when you're in cities and then you go back to nature, and you come back to city and go back to nature. Every time you go to nature you realise, oh, but I feel really calm and peaceful in this area. And I think there's definitely something to be said for this diet, which you're more in sync and more in touch with wanting to be in that environment.
I'm gonna be honest with you, like, as a meat eater, it seems like becoming vegan would be quite a difficult task. What challenges did you face personally? Like, be as honest as you possibly can. What challenges did you face personally that, you know, kind of hindered your transition becoming a vegan?
Yeah, I think the biggest hindrances to becoming a vegan and the biggest challenges are when it's 1 in the morning and you're playing video games with your friends and you're there and you're vegan and they're all ordering pizzas and kebabs and chicken and chips, and you know, and sometimes I got weak. I ate chocolate and cheese. I had a piece of pizza occasionally. For the first year and a half maybe, there'd be weaker moments like that, and you can't beat yourself up. For me, it's not about perfection, it's about doing what you can. We're all still human at the end of the day, and if you transition, if you mess up after 6 months and eat something and give in and eat pizza, don't then give up on veganism. You know what I mean? Don't then oh, my beliefs were wrong.
You're saying there's room for error?
There's absolutely room for error, man. We are human, and so that you're not got room for error, you're going to be the most stressed person in the world. Allow yourself, forgive yourself, you know, and recognise that you've lived a certain way for 20 odd years, 18, 20 years, and that if you are to move on from that, it's going to take some work. You know, the way I see it is like when you put your headphones in your pocket and then you get them out, they're so jumbled and tied up, right? And that's how we've been for years. We've been like in a pocket, you get jumbled and tied up, and that undoing, it takes some work. It takes time and graft to overcome that. But so long as you know in your head that you made that choice because it's the most loving choice and you believe it to be right, then just strive for that. If you don't hit it every time, that's okay. But as long as you're working towards it, that's all right.
Obviously, I have a young daughter, and I want to bring her up being aware of animal agriculture and what goes on. But quite a few people don't agree with that. What's your opinion on how do you think kids should be brought up knowing what's happening?
I think it's crazy that we lie to kids and tell them Santa Claus is real, and then we hide the truth about how we treat animals, and it causes a hindrance in their growth, or it causes a disconnect with them. I think the biggest challenge I face when trying to explain veganism to people or help them understand it and accept it is they care about the environment, they care about their health, but they've just already seemed to accept animals die and they don't care, because the moment when they faced it, the most loving people in the world told them it was all right, so they already automatically accepted that as being all right. And this is something that's, you know, it causes problems. And my parents always taught me never to fight, always to be nice to people, be kind and share and things like that, but they taught me that killing animals was all right in the sense that you can eat animals. And so for me, all those other values were right, and this should be included in that value, but it's just placed outside the box for humanity right now, and I think soon we'll understand it and we'll place it back in the box.
But you spoke about your parents teaching you things, but it's funny how like, my parents, your parents, probably your parents as well, they always said, eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, and then now that you grow up and you realise, you know what, it's not the vegetables that are actually bad for you, like, but now they're saying, it's not okay to be a vegan. You have to, like, my parents, if I said, okay, I'm gonna become vegan now because I actually do care, it seems like I know they'll start creating a fuss. Like, I just find it like really, what's the word I'm looking for?
Hypocritical?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, my mum always has a go at me for eating too much sugar now. And I say, but growing up you wanted me to eat fruit and vegetables, and now I eat just fruit and vegetables.
Yeah,
you're worried about me eating too much sugar. And I say, look what you're reading the Daily Mail, and you're getting your sources from the Daily Mail. I say, look at me and then look at the majority of Daily Mail readers, and look at the way they do. They say smoothies are bad for you if you have too many smoothies. But people want to hear good things about their bad habits, right? So if people reading the Daily Mail are going, oh yeah, all those smoothie drinkers think they're so fit and healthy, but actually no, the science is it's bad for them, and then they get to feel good about themselves. The newspapers and the articles are going to promote things that you might not intuitively agree with, so you have to make your own mind up and from your own experience. And so that's one thing that parents are quite intrinsically, like, they'll look at newspapers and what's on the news, and that's the truth to them, that's gospel, and the government wouldn't lie to them, and these news articles don't have agendas, but they do have agendas, and the government don't know what's best for you. And just Cancer Research UK just announced a barbecue party for Cancer Research UK, and I'm like, how much research? They've done zero research, because if you Google the causes of animal cancer, it's everything that comes of human cancer, it comes from breast cancer, it comes from animal products. One of the biggest causes is too much protein in our diets, and then they're going to have a barbecue, you know, and it's like they've done zero research, and they proved it with that one thing. So it's hilarious to me. You have to really make up our own decisions and not look to our parents for the truth, because they've been through their things and they've dealt with it. They've been through wars and they've dealt with slavery and things, or they've been passed down that knowledge. But this is a new one coming from the youngers up to them, and they don't like to think that children can be teaching them. They like to think they should be teaching their children. So it's harder for them to accept in terms of that.
Why do you think it's not taught? Like, why do you think it's not taught from like a younger age? Though? Is it because people need to? Is it because like
we feel guilty, man? We're subconsciously we feel so guilty about what we're doing that we hide it. You could tell kids not to smoke cigarettes and no one would ever have a problem with that. You could tell kids not to do drugs or drink alcohol, no one would have a problem with it. You tell them not to eat meat, that means that they're wrong. That means that they're wrong as well, because you're challenging them. And it's they're scared of it. They don't want to accept this is wrong, and it's really a hidden guilt that we have.
Is it not something to do with kind of like a government, like, I wouldn't say conspiracy, but because a lot of the like, the factories that kind of do like the
donate towards like,
that produce like all these meat.
If
everyone went vegan, if everyone went vegan, they're gone. You know what I mean? So is that not...
Yeah, I think there's definitely the animal agriculture industry is so colossal, and the meat industry is so big that there are ties with the government. There are connections that, if you get into power, we'll give you this much money, or you give us this. And even the government subsidise meat industry, and then the meat industry helps influence. It goes back and forth. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, because I don't think it works that way. But the government clearly don't care about your health. You know, I mean, the fact that McDonald's are allowed to advertise everywhere, and even on sports events, you see McDonald's advertising on sports events, and like, there's no integrity anymore, not even in sport. And then you can't expect the government to have completely other agendas. As long as money's in politics, it's going to be a biased industry. We have to be the leaders of the world. We have to make the decisions. We have to vote with our money, because voting for the government at this stage makes no difference. Voting for the food, that's going to influence what gets stocked in shops, and even Tesco now are stocking almond milks and coconut waters and things like that. And the change is already happening, and it's on us to make that difference. And I just can't see a world where people don't eat animals, still having ISIS and wars and all these things. I really do believe people can't see the forest for the trees. But I've always been a person with perspective, and I've had vision on things, and I can see outside the box. And this is it. This is the root of all like ill doing to other humans. Is we're so comfortable treating animals this way, and yet we teach kids not to. If we actually live what we preach, then we're not going to treat humans that way. It's one step away from beheading a cow to beheading a human. Now, if we weren't beheading cows and pigs, it's gonna maybe not overnight, but it's gonna end. We're gonna stop treating humans that way. It's gonna be horrific. You're gonna feel more of a connection. Once you feel connected to the animals and the humans, of course you're gonna treat them equally.
You just established your brand, Ethics and Antics. Where do you expect to go with that brand in the future?
Ethics and Antics is something, it came about quite nice. It was kind of a slogan at the end of my YouTube videos, because that's kind of what I feel like I present. Ethics being living, with certain morals and ethics, and then antics being the parkour and being playful. And that turned into, I wanted to have a clothing line, because people like the message and they'd like to represent that, especially veganism. And then the first shirt I designed was Nagiv, which is vegan backwards, because I don't want to wear something that's in people's faces. So, vegans are already supposedly in enough people's faces enough. I wanted something that other vegans could recognise, but not necessarily non-vegans. So I thought if you put it backwards and put for the animals on there, people would get that. And that's kind of where it began from. And I hope to grow that in a way that's something that I can then support myself. I would like to live and not have to. I make a living from parkour right now, and I certainly work with companies that I wouldn't 100% choose to promote straight off the bat, but I have to make a living. So it's kind of, I obviously don't choose companies that sell milk and meat and things like that. But so I'd like to make exactly. There's companies like exactly. So there's always, you could always find a hole in a company that I have endorsed and worked with professionally. Whereas if I was to just have my own clothing line and support and make a bit of money from YouTube, and then I could make a living just promoting this message of being nice to animals. And if I could do that, I'd like to. So then I've created a clothing label, so hopefully down the line I could make a living from that, and then just support whatever I want to and whoever I want to.
I don't want you to take any offence.
Yeah, no, say it.
But you're like one out of how many vegans around the world? And it's growing.
What difference can I make? Is that what you want to say?
What difference is it making? What difference, like, be honest with me, because
from me alone, it's made me healthier. It's given me purpose. It's made me see something that's not right. I hate injustice. If someone pushes in front of a queue, I get angry. I'll speak to that person and say, what do you think you're doing? There's a whole bunch of people here that think, injustice always angers me. Something deep within me, might be because I'm Aries, I don't know what it is. But this is injustice. The way we treat animals is not right. So all I can do is give it my all, promote that, and if it makes no difference, then so what? But I know I'm living with morals. Even if someone died being vegan because they missed some vitamin that people think you need, that's fucking great. That's great. They lived with morals, man. They died with morals. They believed in something and then they lived that way and they backed that up. So many people are already dying eating animal products because of eating animal products. That if one person died that way. So for me, it's about promoting this message. It's giving my life now. It's not about trying to be famous or about being the best in the world at what I do. It's about showing people that you can be nice to animals and be healthy. And I guess that's why me as an athlete, I play an important role, because there's always vegans that are lecturers and scientists and people like that, but there's not that many athletes in the world that are that vocal about it. There are vegan athletes, but do they speak about it? Not that many. So I think it's important. There's a space for every vegan to speak about the message and deliver it the way they want to, because I've gone more of a Gary Yourofsky approach now, where I'm pretty blunt about the way I deliver it. People say, oh, you should be soft or you shouldn't be so rude about it, but there's a whole shape piece in the wall for every vegan or every human to step into, and I think veganism is a big chapter in that. You know, I think it's the trilogy of treating women and equal to men and treating every race equally, and then treating animals not equally, but just don't treat them with the complete abuse that we do right now. So I think this is the final step in the trilogy before we get to peace, and I'm a contributor to it because it's happening either way. My aim, to sum it up, is to make vegetarian countries. And I'm a contributor to that. I won't be the sole person that does it, but I'm a contributor to vegetarian countries in the next 10, 20 years, however long that takes. I'm going to be alive when countries declare themselves vegetarian, and I'm a contributor to that. So that's where I'm going.
And that's where you think it's going, like?
Absolutely.
As like a collective.
Yeah.
As a collective, that's what you think veganism.
Yeah.
Being a vegan, that's what you think it's going.
It's going. We're going to get vegetarian countries. We'll get vegan countries. It's only a matter of time now, because the younger see it, and as the older generation dies out, then we're the ones that are in charge. So. And the young'uns get it, and the young'uns are more flexible to change and to open to new ideas. And then you've got Cook Daily opening up here, and you see how cool that is, and how that's fucking. I see a lot of big names, especially like in the UK scene that eat up there. Skepta's vegetarian, Jamie's vegan, Julie's vegan. Oh, is he up there? Yeah, Temps. He's not vegan, but he knows it. He completely knows it. So the thing is, for me, and my approach is, I speak to leaders. I don't necessarily always speak. I mean, I put videos out on YouTube, but I can't speak to that next man in the street. He's not going to get it. But when I speak to Skepta, I speak to Jamie, they get it, and they're influencers, and then they speak to other influencers, and that's how the message gets out there. You speak to the leaders, you don't speak to the masses, and then that spreads from there.
Right, guys, that's it from us. Tim, thank you very much for always, man.
Thanks for spreading the message. No, appreciate you taking the time to interview me. No, appreciate it. What's your channel? What we promoting here?
This is going on Ben's channel, but make sure you
Ben
check
Rich's
out.
art.
Check them out. I'm going to start posting more videos.
Check out Tim's channel.
Trying to spread the word a bit.
Yeah, man, sick. Yeah, check out my channel. What is it?
Timothy Shieff.
Just search Timothy Shieff. Yeah.
We'll link it here.
Link it here. Check out my Instagram as well. Much love, guys.
Sound.
Thanks, man. I know you.